July, and welcome back to Shivers and Roses, a space where we read and enjoy all literature dark and macabre. The thing with poems is that there are many, many different and amazing authors, and many, many beautiful works of literature that one can get swept away in the immensity of. With that being said, I've found 3 classics that are always a treat and always beautifully dark. So come along and take a step back into the shadows with me. Let's begin. I dwell in a lonely house I know, that vanished many a summer ago, and left no trace but the cellar walls, and a cellar in which the daylight falls and the purple-stemmed wild raspberries grow. O'er the ruined fences the grapevines shield, the woods come back to the mowing field, the orchard tree has grown 1 copse of new wood, and old where the woodpecker chops, the footpath down to the well is healed. I dwell with a strangely aching heart in that vanished abode there far apart on that disused and forgotten road that has no dust bath now for the toad. Night comes, the black bats tumble and dart. The whippoorwill is coming to shout, and hush and cluck and flutter about. I hear him begin far enough away, full many a time to say his say before he arrives to say it out. It is under the small dim summer star, I know not who these mute folk are, who share the unlit place with me. Those stones out under the low-limbed tree doubtless bear names that the mosses mar. They are tireless folk, but slow and sad, though too close keeping our lass and lad, with none among them that ever sings, and yet in view of how many things as sweet companions as might be had. Ghost House by Robert Frost is a chilling and evocative poem that explores themes of loss, the passage of time and memory. Written in 1906, this enigmatic poem takes readers on a journey through an abandoned house that serves as a metaphor for the transience of life and the inescapable reality of death. Frost's use of vivid imagery and symbolism create a sense of eerie beauty and melancholy throughout the poem. The description of the house as a restful place that is now overgrown with fern conveys a sense of neglect and decay, mirroring the passage of time and the fading of memories. The image of the house as a ghost house suggests a lingering presence of the past, haunting the present and serving as a reminder of the impermanence of life. The poem's contemplative tone and reflective mood invite readers to ponder the fleeting nature of existence and the inevitability of mortality. Frost's exploration of the ghostly house as a metaphor for the human experience resonates with readers on a profound level, prompting them to reflect on their own mortality and the legacy they will leave behind. Robert Frost's Ghost House is a poignant and introspective poem that allows us to reflect on our own experience. Ghost House stands as a testament to Frost's poetic genius and his ability to capture the complexities of the human experience in a few short verses. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as if someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, and nothing more." Ah, distinctly, I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here for evermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now to still the beating of my heart I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is, I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you here. I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness, peering long, I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, 'Lenore?' This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, 'Lenore.' Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. 'Surely,' said I, 'surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more.' Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mine of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven sitting lonely on the placid bust spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore," startled at the stillness broken by replies so aptly spoken. "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters it's its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore." but the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling. Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, "Nevermore." This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. "Wretch," I cried, "thy Goth hath lent me, by these angels he hath sent thee respite, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate, yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend," I shrieked, upstarting, "get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of thy lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form off my door." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe is a haunting and iconic poem that touches on themes of grief, loss, and the supernatural. Written in 1845, this narrative poem follows a bereaved protagonist who is visited by a mysterious raven that perches on his chamber door. The raven's repeated refrain, "Nevermore," serves as a chilling reminder of the protagonist's sorrow and the inability to move on from the death of his beloved Lenore. Poe's masterful skill of language and imagery create an unnerving and foreboding atmosphere throughout the poem. The repetition of the word, "nevermore," echoes the protagonist's anguish and descent into madness as he grapples with the raven's ominous presence. The symbolism of the raven as a harbinger of death and despair add an air of melancholy and inevitability to the poem. Poe's exploration of the human psyche and the macabre in The Raven continues to captivate readers for almost 2 centuries after its publication. In conclusion, Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven is a masterpiece of Gothic poetry that delves into the depths of human emotion and existential dread. Its enduring popularity and influence on the horror genre attest to Poe's unparalleled skill as a writer and his ability to tap into the darker recesses of the human soul. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Invictus by William Ernest Henley is a powerful and inspirational poem that has resonated with readers for generations. Written in 1875, this enduring work explores the themes of perseverance, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of the human soul. The poem's title, Invictus, means unconquered in Latin, and it sets the tone for the defiant and triumphant message that Henley conveys throughout the verses. Henley's use of strong and assertive language in Invictus creates a sense of empowerment and defiance in the face of adversity. The opening lines, "Out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole," establish a dark and challenging backdrop against which the speaker asserts his unwavering strength and resolve. The recurring refrain, "I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul," serves as a rallying cry for self-determination and resilience in the face of life's trials and tribulations. The poem's universal message of inner strength and empowerment has inspired countless individuals to overcome obstacles and challenges in their own lives. Invictus continues to be a source of solace and motivation for those facing adversity, reminding us of the power of human spirit to endure and triumph in the face of adversity. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure to explore the shadows with you, and I hope you've enjoyed your time here. If you did, and you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe and leave a like and a comment. I'm happy to know you enjoyed the content, and I'm excited to create a literary community here on YouTube with you. Thank you for coming, and until we meet again, remember, don't be afraid of the shadows.